So, good morning, everybody. It is great to be back in the new year of 5778 from the creation of Adam. And we have been learning here together now in this class for 8 years. 8 years here at Congregation Brith Shalom, where we meet every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock and discuss various Musar topics. And what we've been discussing the past week, starting a new series, was on ethics of our fathers. And the first, we want to share this with our friends online. The first idea we've discussed was that Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelik le'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion in the world to come. And what we discussed last week is that just because you have a seat reserved, I saw when I pulled up here they had, reserved parking spots. That does not mean, just because you have a seat reserved, doesn't mean you'll have a ticket to get in. So yeah, it's true, every Jew has a portion of the world to come. And we spent a lot of time on this last week in class. Sorry, my friends, you have to be here to get the full class. Now I'm just giving a synopsis. Is that we have a seat reserved with our name on it. It says Stewart right there. It's waiting for you. But we have to earn it through our actions, through our deeds, through our kindness, through our generosity, through all of the amazing things that we have the opportunity to do throughout our lifetime to earn that seat. Now, this notion that we're here just to be here is sort of ridiculous, right? We're here for a purpose. We're here to accomplish. We're here to do good things. We're here to use the talents and the skills and the abilities that were specially customized for us. There's something very interesting that the Midrash says that kishem shepartzufeim shonim, kach deoteim shonim. Just as their faces are different, and there are no two faces on planet Earth that are exactly the same, so too their opinions are different. Their perspectives are different. Their thoughts are different. Right? Their political views are different. And it's perfectly fine. We all have a different fingerprint. It's unique. To all of the billions and billions of people existing on the planet Earth today, there are not two fingerprints that are alike. And not two faces that are alike. You know why? Because God made you unique. Each one of us here are unique. We're not the same as everybody else. We're here to accomplish a specific mission that is uniquely tailored to us with the talents that we have, with the abilities that we have, with the skills that we have that are gifted to us by God. So just to be another Joe, just to be another person, just to go with the flow and be like everyone else, that's not fulfilling our mission. We have something special, we have something unique. And my blessing to all of us here and all of our friends online is that this year should be a year where we're able to to discover, and to utilize the uniqueness of each of our own characteristics. We all have something special we can bring to the world. We all have something that's unique that nobody else can bring to the world. Our Mishnah, before we start, Ethics of Our Fathers, tells us, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelik le'olam haba. Each of us every single one of us has a portion, our own unique portion that is custom tailored by us for us, that we need to maximize throughout our lifetime. So go get them. Go find out what that uniqueness is. And one of the ways, by the way, in which our sages tell us you can do this is to look into your childhood. Because, we've been educated, we've been groomed for this through school and other opportunities. We've been put on many different, shields and many different layers of personality that we, it's like you have a child, they ask him, so how's the food? Disgusting, right? So shh, don't say that, right? He's saying what he feels. Right? Now, we need to learn how to do things a little bit more politely. It's not my taste, and we teach them. But we have many different layers of lenses that we start using to avoid hitting things the way they really are and saying things the way they really are, or the way they ought to be. And sometimes that takes away from us really looking back, or really understanding who we are. Because someone who has a really, really, let's say a 10 out of 10 in truth, right, but is being told to, just say it in a nice way, or, so people don't like it, it's not politically correct, but it's true, and people have a hard time with it. So if you look to your childhood, you'll be able to see things that are unfiltered. And you're able to see either, there's an honesty, and you see that same theme coming back to a person throughout all of the different challenges that we have. That same characteristic comes back, and that's a tool that's there to help us really, first is identify what that trait is, and number two is use that trait to attain perfection. So each of us have something unique. Each of us have something which is incredibly special. Our sages tell us that every single human being has a trait. Every single human being has a trait that is perfect. One trait that is absolutely perfect. Right? And the question I always get in class is, well, Rabbi, what's my trait? Tell me. Well, I can't tell you. You have to tell yours. You have to find it yourself. And every person needs to investigate, what is that trait? What is that perfection that you have? And you out there online, right? Every person has a trait that's perfect. We have to identify what that trait is. You think about all of the different great sages that we've had over the past, millennium. They all had something, a unique characteristic. You know what's amazing? Think about the Chafetz Chaim. No matter how well we know the Chafetz Chaim, he wrote 22 different unbelievable books. Every one is a masterpiece. But you think of the trait of the Chafetz Chaim that stands out the most. Right? The trait that stood out the most was proper speech. He had amazing other qualities. You think of all the Hasidic masters. You think of all of the, Musar masters, soul masters, right? They always had, even if they had unbelievable qualities, there was one trait that stood out more than anything else. That trait is important for us to find so that we're able to conquer all of the other ones. So we're able to master all of the other traits. We're living in a culture of political correctness, which I believe is killing our society. Right? If you don't like a statue, let's pull the statue down. It's like we're living in a culture that can't handle any opinion that doesn't agree with ours. Right? And this is also now in really current events about the sports sports figures who are kneeling during the national anthem. All of this is just, I think the bottom line problem is that we in America have become accustomed to political correctness to the point where, everything needs to be super manicured for every audience so that nobody be offended. You know what? There's nothing wrong if someone gets offended. It's not the end of the world. We don't want to go out and offend people. But if you're saying the truth and someone gets offended by the truth, why is that a problem? And everyone is unique. It's fine for you to have a disagreement. It's fine for you to have a different opinion and a different perspective. We all have a different perspective. That's part of our uniqueness. It's part of the greatness of who we are as human beings, is that we all have something unique to offer. And that's, go out and get them. Find out the trait, the characteristic that you're perfect in, that you were given as a gift in perfection, and bring it to life. Don't push it into the corner. Imagine you have this gem. You have a gem, and the gem, you don't clean it after a month, after 2 months, after 6 months, after a year. You don't clean it after 2 years, 3 years, what happens? Does that gem change? It's still a gem, but it's very, very dirty. And you're not going to be able to see it shine. You're not going to be able to see it sparkle. That's our neshama. Our neshama is that gem. And if we don't constantly do what's necessary to perfect our traits, then we're at risk of that gem not being able to sparkle the way it should, the way it could, the way it was gifted to sparkle. That's why we study Musar. We study the whole world of Musar, because this helps us perfect our traits. Not to just let a pile on. Someone who has anger, for example. I'm sorry. So, someone who has anger, right? Anger is not a good trait. It's not a good thing for a person to have anger. But if a person doesn't work on it, he won't even realize he has it. And that will clutter up many other positive traits because of that anger. Many things will be affected by that anger. That's what our sages are telling us. To work on our traits, to identify them, so that we can become the most perfect, most beautiful gem. Because don't forget, that gem, you know where that gem goes to? Do you know where it comes from? God. It comes from God's crown. And God wants that gem to be buffed and be cleansed. It has a slight imperfection. We need to perfect it. God has no imperfection. But we come to this world with an imperfection. And our job throughout our lifetime is to perfect those imperfections. A friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, after experiencing a divorce, sadly, told me that he was very afraid about getting remarried, because he read an article in the New York Times that said that most second marriages have the same problems as the first marriage. Well, obviously. Because if you don't change, your problems go with you. So just having a different face to that problem won't change the problem. The problem is still the same one. It's a frightening thing. It means a person can go through life and not work on themselves and not work on perfecting their character and not changing. That's a frightening idea. So, we all have a portion of the world to come. We just have to earn our ticket to get in. And we're all capable of doing it, which is why, you know who believes in us more than anyone? God. God is our greatest investor. And now we have a full week to work on ourselves, to prepare ourselves for Yom Kippur, to get ourselves to a state of attaining whatever level in this week as possible of perfection, to bring ourselves to the greatest point of that clarity as possible. So go get it, my friends. And we're looking forward to sharing with you many more Musar thoughts over the coming weeks, over the coming months, over the coming years. But you're also welcome to join us here live with our wonderful people here at Congregation Brith Shalom every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Looking forward. You can see all of this information on torchweb.org, and you can watch all of these videos on torchvideos.com. Have a lovely day, my friends. Thank you for joining us.